What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Zatima. This is season 3, episode 17, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So, we basically open this episode up with Leslie still showing Zach the picture, and she's going on and on about how Malachi is still in love with Fatima, and how he has her dressed like Fatima. All of this was Malachi's idea. You know, them even being in her house, being in Fatima's house. Malachi was up there fantasizing about him being with Fatima and not his actual wife, Leslie. And all of this stuff. And I'm just like, 3 things are happening right now. Leslie, what type of woman are you that you are so attached to this man and trying to keep him that this man is literally having you become a whole nother woman? Like, that is some crazy shit, okay? Ain't no way I'm going to go to the detrimental places that you're going so that you can pretend to be Fatima to keep this man happy. Girl, what? It don't even make no goddamn sense that you over here bobbling around with a blonde wig on top of your head curled exactly like Fatima's. That's some weirdo shit, okay? And at this point, you're not only doing that stuff because Malachi wants it, but because you want to be Fatima as well. Because only a weirdo would do some shit like this. A second thing that's happening here. I'm not understanding who Zach and Fatima are right now. Because, no offense, but Zach and Fatima would have absolutely jumped over the table on Malachi and Leslie in this moment. And I'm trying to figure out why that's not happening. Like, are we all watching the same show? Like, Zach literally just beat his brother's ass because he's trying to defend Fatima's honor. So, why you not doing that right now? Because, I'm sorry, but Malachi is playing in your fucking face. And so is Leslie. And here goes the reason why I'm saying Malachi is playing in everybody's face. Brings me to point 3. The fact that he told Leslie, I had that photo doctored. I'm sorry. Excuse me? We would have had to whoop ass. I'm sorry. I'm beating both of y'all asses and then y'all getting the fuck up out of my house. Because y'all play all day and I'm not about to play with y'all. Malachi, what type of weirdo shit are you doing that you are toying with your wife and getting fake images created of you and a girl that you dated over 10 years ago? What kind of shit is that? And then Leslie, you believe that it's her. Okay, you talking like you saw them coming out of some hotel. Well, who was the bitch that you saw at the hotel? Like, what's going on here? Because it ain't Fatima. This whole situation is weird. Tyler, I think that you really gotta stop. Like, Zach and Fatima got enough going on. This right here is definitely one storyline that makes no fucking sense whatsoever, and it's unnecessary. Now, would I have actually enjoyed Fatima and Zach having friends who were like another couple? Sure. But this type of bullshit? Nah, buddy. Nah. Now, we get to the point where Fatima finally speaks up and she tells Leslie that she gotta leave. And I'm just like, why are you only singling out Leslie? Both of their asses need to leave. Like, that was very weird. So, they end up leaving or whatever. And Zach is like, he's pissed off, right? Now, I don't know if maybe Zach was trying to contain himself because he just got in Fatima's good graces legit, like, probably an hour before this. But I completely understand why he's pissed. I was just thrown off by him saying that he was mad because they knew where the spare key was. I'm like, that's the only reason? Negro! Y'all definitely need to go ahead and change the locks on the house because I don't trust Leslie or him. I really don't. And also, Zach, how are you not upset about all this information that was just revealed? I'm very shocked by you. And what threw me off, again, out of nowhere, Fatima basically, she tells Zach that, you know, that photo, that was an old photo. I'm sorry, which one is it? Because this right here in this moment It's giving busted. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Where you been? Girl, which one was it? Were you out dancing or were you out shopping? Is the photo doctored or is this an actual old photo? Make that make sense, Fatima. But nonetheless, the thing is, even though she's supposedly done with Leslie, we all know that she's not done with Malachi because she still needs his help when it comes to the Angela situation, right? All right, fine. So then Fatima and Zach, they start talking about, him and his life choices yet again. And basically she tells him the same thing that Connie said, which was he needs to go see his brother. Now, of course, he doesn't want to go or whatever. And Zach, he's like, I'm going to go out, right? And she's like, okay, fine, I'm going upstairs. So she ends up going upstairs. And does Zach actually go out? Sort of, kind of. He went out the house. And he went to go see Tony, right? Now, here's the thing. Foreshadowing for sure. Because we see that Tony has added a bunch of locks onto the barbershop door, right? Place is all locked up. So he ends up letting Zach in. Zach like, yo, what's going on with the locks? He's like, oh, it's because of a bunch of robberies that have been happening to a lot of the local businesses, right? So they sit up there, chop it up, and they talk about Jeremiah and how Zach needs to go see his brother. And Zach, unfortunately, he still does not see the wrong in what he did. Okay, he don't see nothing being wrong. And that is until Tony showed him the video where he can see that he really almost killed his brother. So at this point, Tony has to explain to Zach, like, listen, dog, you pretty much blacked out. And you have to make better choices. So at that moment, Zach basically decides he's going to go see his brother. Cool. Now, here's the kicker. When Zach ended up leaving out the building, right? Tony is like a few steps away, okay? He wasn't that far. And they were talking about how Tony got to make sure to lock the damn door up, right? Guess who didn't lock the door, y'all? Tony's ass. I'm like, Tony, why didn't you walk towards the door after Zach left? The most common sense thing to do is go lock that damn door. Like, what are you doing? But I digress. We're going to get there later. Zach goes to see his brother, okay? And at first, Jeremiah's calling for help because he thinks Zach about to come beat his ass again. But no, Zach tells him, that's not what I'm here to do. Just want to let you know, you can't be touching Fatima like that. Like, that's just not cool. And of course, Jeremiah tries to use his little excuse. I got a problem, man. I got a problem. That does not excuse your behavior, okay? No matter what your little problem is, that does not excuse you knocking that girl to the floor. It don't. Or you rummaging through her purse. Or you stealing Belinda's money. It doesn't excuse for your behavior, okay? So Jeremiah, he does apologize. And Jeremiah's like, I know that you're sorry to Zach or whatever. And he then goes on to talk about how he wants to get off drugs because at the end of the day, that's what killed their mother. And he says he wants to go to rehab. So he ends up asking Zach, could you pay for it? Again, here goes Zach family coming to him for money. But I will say, if Jeremiah is serious about it, I'm all for Zach paying for rehab, okay? So before Zach ends up leaving, though, he does actually apologize to his brother. And then Jeremiah asks, when was the funeral? So Jeremiah, he ends up going on telling Zach how he loves him and, growing up and even as they were older, he was always jealous of Zach. And then he went on to talk about how his kids don't even deal with him. Like, Jeremiah was just letting it all out, okay? He said the kids won't deal with him because he's a junkie. And honestly, here's the thing. When you are living that street life and you are in drugs and doing all whatever you doing, I'm sorry, baby, but them kids don't owe you nothing, okay? Your kids don't owe you anything. You owe it to your children to fix your life, to be around them. Okay? Zach, he ends up telling, his brother that he got to get clean first, and then he can try to build a relationship with his children. And I completely agree with that. I think that, honestly, I know that people would always be like, oh, you shouldn't keep your kids from their parents. Let me tell y'all something. I think it's completely fucked up when you allow your kids to be around their drug addict ass parents. I really do. Because number one, that's putting your child in direct harm's way. Okay? Because you don't know what that other parent may have around. You don't know if they have the drugs on them. You don't know what type of places they may take the kids. I am absolutely not for kids being around drug addict parents. I'm sorry, I'm not. If you have cleaned yourself up, for sure. Or if this was like a, what is it called? You got visitations and somebody else is present, sure. But I'm just saying, I don't trust druggies with no children. Moving on from that, Zach ends up going home and Fatima is already in bed, right? So basically he tells her, he loves her and how he don't know where he would be without her. The typical lovey-dovey. All because he probably trying to get some, okay? So she ends up waking up and, of course, he tells her about what he talked about with Jeremiah. And she ends up starting to ask him questions at one point about why he didn't blink when that photo was, shown to him. And he said it's because he knew that it wasn't real. I'm sorry, I didn't like that answer, y'all. I did not like that answer. Zach is a fucking hothead. He literally just threw Malachi across the fucking floor because he thought that man was with Fatima. You mean to tell me that Leslie's going to present a photo to Zach that shows Fatima with that man and Zachary is not going to spaz out? Like, I am so confused by this whole situation. I really am. But basically, this man talking about some, I knew that wasn't you, like, because, you too real for that, you wouldn't do that, but you just thought that she did. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So then they have this conversation about him and changing his behavior. At this point, I'm tired. I don't want to hear mention of Zachary and his behavior anymore. I really don't. Like, actions. Let's just see actions. Let's stop talking about it. Moving on from that, basically she told him that they can't have a baby in a messed up environment, okay? And then she goes on to tell him how he's a good man. I'm trying to figure out where. Like, y'all know I've been rocking with Zatima. I like Zach. I like Fatima. However, with the way these characters have been written, my God, I can understand if we could have gotten Zatima to break up. And I mean, like, for real break up. Like, the real kind. And they found their way back to each other. But that's not what we got. They broke up for a solid, 3 days? And was right back at it. I'm trying. I'm trying with this. It's just crazy how I feel like Zatima versus sisters, this couple is two different people. Like, Zach and Fatima on sisters is not the Zach and Fatima on Zatima. It is so strange. Nonetheless, we basically, I'm going to jump to the end. We basically see this guy, he comes into the shop, right? Into Tony's shop because guess what? Tony did not lock the damn door, right? And what's crazy to me is that Tony is right there and Tony's like, you ain't got to do this, all of this stuff. This man has on the ski mask, take it off. And then he decides to threaten Tony. And then we end the episode off with some gunshots ringing out. I'm like, well, sir, why'd you take the mask off? So that way he can identify you if he didn't make it? I mean, if he did make it, like if he did survive the shots? What the fuck? I'm like, what am I watching? Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about the episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.